Hello, hello, hello. What's
Hello, hello,
going on?
hello. Oh my goodness. Wedding season, party season, everybody's season is going
Yeah,
on right
it's
now.
it's about to get nitty
Oh,
gritty.
but
Okay, we got
today.
Chris. I see Chris. I see Chris. There he is. Bam.
Hello, hello,
Hey
hello.
Chris,
How y'all
Perfect
doing?
timing. He came
come
right
on,
right at
baby.
the right time. All
Right
right.
on time.
So today's show, what we're talking about, Chris, and Tish, is that we're talking about like the layers of how you put an event together.
Okay.
What takes the
Mm-hmm.
priority? What like how should you balance it? And when you come across a conflict, who should get what overall? Now, the things that we run into, and I know all three of us have came across this problem before, is when you come, let's say for example, you come up across a venue let's say for 150 people, but they have 200 people that show up.
Mhm.
What is most likely
Mm-hmm.
going to take the direct hit in that situation?
DJ.
Decor.
I believe in most cases, it is going to be the decor, but the DJ, we always feel it regardless. But most of the time, it's going to be the decor because the decor, if you say 150 people and you have
Well, I
200,
probably
you
should
only
have
have
said
the
catering.
huh?
That too.
I
That
probably should
too.
have said
That too,
catering
because pretty much
first.
everybody's going to suffer because of the it wasn't properly planned. But
Mm-hmm.
in a situation, how should the client like what can we do to make sure the client stays on the right page? What kind of information should the client get from us to make sure they don't run into any conflicts or issues
Prior to that date or on that day.
prior to that date? Like in the planning phase, let's say for example, we got a customer. Let's say we'll say January 29th, 2026. We got a whole year. Okay, they got their venue. The venue itself, they said clear. They only could hold 150, but for some reason they're thinking they can get 200 people in there.
Mm.
What are we going to do? Or
As the planner.
let's not even say that. Let's be realistic. They say they're going to do a whole 150 people. Okay,
Okay.
what can we do to advise to them that that's not a good idea?
You going,
What
Chris?
type
You
of
want me to go?
So I mean, it don't matter either or. I know
Okay. Go ahead.
from my standpoint, I'm going to tell them the aspect of one, like you said, decor. They're gonna have to think about decor, spacing on tables, chairs, and then I'm gonna tell them for spacing on my equipment, and let them know as what I like to call as the danger zone for speakers, because somebody is
Mm-hmm.
going to be in a danger zone if they try to pack it in like sardines, and there's nothing I can
Mm-hmm.
do to prevent that. And that danger zone is when somebody's in direct line of those speakers, because everybody's packed in there like sardines, and the coordinator cannot spread them out. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I just like to give everybody the proper heads up and let them know. And I mean, ultimately, they're going to do what they want to do. So you can't do anything but communicate.
I agree. I think that one of the issues that I've experienced a couple of times with people is saying I can't stretch the building.
Right.
I can't make the building any bigger. So if you want X amount of guests, you want a dance area, you want an area for your food to go, you want an area for your cake to go, you need an area for your DJ to go, you need a area for your sweetheart table. You got to consider the spacing of a building. A building can tell you that they can hold 150 people. It doesn't mean that it's feasible
right?
for to have 150 people in there. Um, I'll use the Cape Fear Botanical Gardens as an example. I had a wedding that tripled in size from 80 people to over 200 people. And we literally had to figure out how to fit them in even though that large space as a host, what, 300,
Hmm.
when you include the dance floor, a sweetheart table, and the rest of it, it's hard to fit that many people in that place and still have ample space, to still have people with flow. through the room because you got to have flow through your room, and
Right.
you want a dance floor. I mean, who
Exactly.
goes to a wedding and doesn't want to dance?
Well, then it also got to take into consideration the program that you're doing, because if you have someone, let's say, doing a special like presentation where they come in dancing, you got to have spacing for
Hmm.
I've seen where I've seen it numerous times where it's so crowded to where they can't even walk in to do the introduction. Um, so me, when I look at a room, it's like I always tell them, whatever the max is, go 50 less than that, because then you can't
That's a
go
rule
wrong
of
with it.
thumb.
Right, you can't go wrong with 50 less. So if they're saying that the max capacity is 200, then you don't want to go past 150,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of pieces, especially if you got to have, like, some people want to have the ice sculpture, they want to have the photo booth, they want, and most of the time, this is the thing, is they don't take time out to look at all the things that they're all the resources, everything they're using for their event. I hear it all the time. They always forget about my selfie station. They always forget, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's right, we got selfie station,
And
and
then a
I
360, like a 360, and how much space that takes up,
ooh,
literally,
that
you
takes up that
know,
takes up a lot of space.
A lot.
because you got to have the props, you got to have the spacing. The average one is like 40 something inches, I believe, Chris.
Correct.
Mhm.
The
Correct.
base is, but
Well, I think they have
that
one.
spin realm.
I think they came out with one that's like 35, a little small one, but most of the ones you find are around 40.
Yeah, 40 to 45, right?
Right.
So, and
Right.
but the spin arm has to have space,
Correct. Correct.
you know. So now you're taking up that 40, even if you go 42 inches, that's still almost 4 feet before you even get to the swing arm. So, and the space has to be all the way around, plus area for the table, for the props, plus any backdrop you're gonna have. It's a whole thing that goes with that. So you gotta do an 8 by 8 space for just that one thing. That
Exactly.
is larger than one table. It's not enough space to fit two tables, but that's one table that has to be gone out of the way. DJ space is a whole nother table area
Exactly.
that has to be, moved out of the way. Your food tables, 6 or 8 foot tables, depending on how much food you're having, that could be 3 tables long.
Right.
And that's three more tables that cannot be set up. So it's spacing. But again, um, if you have people that have these events where, and I've had this happen where they invited the whole church. Why? Why don't you have names, an
Right.
exact number?
Right.
And I've literally put a stop to that several years ago. I have to have an exact number because I have to arrange it with the venue for the seating, talk to the DJ about where they need to be, talk to if you're having a selfie station now, I need to know where that's going to be. Like we have to accommodate for all these things. People want to have every single thing they see on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, but you're not getting that 7,000 square foot building. You're not you're getting this 2,500 square foot building. You ain't
Exactly.
ready to fit everybody in there. What are you
Yep.
doing?
Yep.
They're not looking at all the background of what they see that one thing. But did you see all that space that was in that, that room?
Mhm.
Did you see everything that was going on in that room? How they respect you? All that has to be considered. And I just don't think people think beyond. I get there are things that you want, but when you're picking your venue, you better think about all the things you want
Right.
to fit into that space.
And that's
But
the
we can't
biggest
stretch
part.
walls.
That's the biggest part right
Exactly.
there, is that most of the time we're not in that process when they're choosing their venue,
Hmm.
and we're kind of like after the fact. So when they
Right.
get that venue, it's just a matter of, okay, now we need to say, okay, what right looks like before we can begin. And I think that's the biggest piece, is that people are not, they never done events before, and then like they get into the point where they want to put up tables, bistro tables, ice sculpture, 360 booth, selfie station. Um, you have bands that, and see me, a band sometimes can be your worst nightmare,
You better believe it.
because you don't know if you're not getting straight answers. Like, okay, it's only a 5 member band. Okay, but what are the instruments?
Right.
How much
Because
spacing is
drums
needed?
by themselves is 5 feet or 6 feet of space.
Right. So those are things that people have taken consideration, and I think that's part of that planning process. And my thing is, what can we do as vendors I know what I've done is I've put the actual spacing on my contract.
Mhm.
So that gives it, even though, 5 by 8, and I always tell them, I said, think about a pop-up tent. Okay, when you do a canopy, look at it that way. That's how much space that I need. Now
Right.
that's like an 8 by 8. I mean, that's a little too much, but I try to give them an idea of what that space looks like. Try to put a picture in their head. So when they go out here and they do it, then think, what other things should they consider? Now, when they're picking a venue, what other things should they consider? The spacing is one of the biggest pieces, but what other things should they consider about the venue?
Policies
Accessibility.
of the venue.
Accessibility, that's a big one. What else?
Yeah. And policies, the policies of that venue.
Policies. That's crucial. Now that right there is the most crucial one of all. Now, let me ask y'all this. Is an hour enough time to set up and break down?
Don't make me hang up on you today. Don't make me hang up on you talking about some daggone hour. Don't make
No,
me
but
hang
I'm just saying,
because I'm gonna
so
get
I'm just
ugly.
trying to figure out for these venues, and there's quite a few of them. They have this impression that a vendor, that's why most of the time I wonder, these venues that do this, are they friend or foe? Because
They're faux. And they're not doing it because they don't know any better. They're doing it because they want to get extra money for the extra time. That's what it is. Let's just
okay,
call a spade a spade. They're doing it. They're telling them in the contract 1 hour for setup to force them to purchase another 2 or 3 hours. That's
right,
what that's
No,
about. It's about
I was
money
gonna say
for a lot of
so.
them.
So you see how I have my booth, right? My
right,
podium style, right?
right,
So theoretically, I can roll that in. I have everything I need, and then I can put my speakers up. But then I still have to put my lights up. So, and then if they want uplighting, so even at that, with that, it's still a stress to do everything within an hour. Because I
mhm,
don't go there in a suit and tie and everything. I go there in nice, like, work clothes like this, so I can be comfortable putting up stuff. And then that's just one setup though. So if you have three setups, no, hour is not. Now, if it's something very basic, you don't want uplighting. They don't want. I mean, all my packages comes with lighting, so they're gonna get the basic totem with the lights. Then sure, I could potentially do it, but it's gonna be
But
very, very right,
realistically,
correct,
that's not
correct,
enough time.
correct,
Because
correct.
right. I mean,
definitely as a decorator, that's not an listen, it could take us 30 minutes just to unload. Seriously.
right. That I mean, in most cases, that's about right because it depends on the type of venue and how far you have to walk from your
Mhm.
vehicle into the inside the venue. It can take about 30 minutes just to unload. And so, like
Mhm.
with me, I did a timing because like this past Saturday was my first event. So I did a little video clip and I recorded, and I got done within 50 minutes. Now it used to take me 50, like last time I timed myself, it was 58, but it's because I had a two-piece speaker system. I had a top and I had a bottom. Now that I have my column Bose speaker system, that saves me time. So when I
Mhm.
tell somebody, I'm not going to tell them 50 minutes. That 1 hour is just not realistic. And I try to stress that to people that I don't care. You can have a full team, you still can't get it done within 1 hour.
But we also have to look at the logistics of this, though.
It's
So, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say I was gonna go ahead and finish what you were saying because what I was gonna say was seconding what he was saying. But go
Oh,
ahead.
I was gonna say, so your boat system compared to your two piece system, how much more expensive is that, right? So now ultimately it's gonna cost the client more money because now we're buying this equipment that we can set up a little bit
Right.
quicker. That's more expensive. So
It's more
now
convenient, right?
exactly. So now that cost is now being imposed on the client because they're wanting that time that time back.
Right. And
And
that's
that
why
is like a convenience store. That is why they're high. Your drinks, your water is higher in the convenience store because it's for the convenience.
and then the thing is, another thing they got to take into consideration is if all, let's say all four venue vendors show up at one time and there's only one way in, who takes the priority of downloading and getting in and set up? My thing is, I always you're trying to give your vendors a spacing period because if
Mhm.
we're all in one space we're going to get frustrated with each other. We're going to get each other's way,
Mhm.
and that's why I say it's
And
like
it's not gonna be pleasant.
it's not going to be pleasant. And so And the thing is, I'm trying to make sure the customer for some reason doesn't want to understand that. But why you want to do 3 hours? Okay, you're doing 150 people. Okay, you got to bring in a decoration team, and you got me coming in. You got the person with the photo booth. You got the caterer. We're all coming through the same door. And God knows, I know at Skyview, it's a fight to get in Skyview sometimes because
Yo, baby.
we're all trying to get in that one side door. I mean, don't get me wrong, they got two side doors. They got two ways of getting in, but we're
But you
all
still
trying
got
to
to
get in
come
that
down that
one
long
door.
hallway to get in if you go to
Right.
the other door. Yeah.
And then the parking situation is,
Lord, that's a
so it's
whole nother
like
thing.
that. So so to me, when we're talking about time, all that stuff got to be taken into consideration,
Exactly.
especially if you go downtown Raleigh. That's even 5 times worse.
Oh my gosh, because you're gonna walk a country mile depending on what
Right.
venue it
Exactly.
is.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're not gonna, and that's why I say I don't, and that's the reason why I don't do any events downtown. I don't do any events in Raleigh because I am not going to put myself through that. It's just
Honey,
not worth it. I don't care. You could pay me $3,000. I'm not doing downtown Raleigh because
it
it's
is
just
a
the
whole
parking is
headache.
terrible. Then in most of the venues, you got to go through a narrow door and then go up some stairs. So
The same thing is in what is it, Asheville, with a Biltmore? Is that the right city, Asheville?
Yep.
right,
Yep.
Their
yep.
downtown is just as bad, if not
Yep.
worse.
Yep.
I'm serious, as Raleigh. Theirs is horrible.
So when we talk about time, and that's what I said, we're talking about layers of planning, and we're talking about time. We got to understand that, as we got to really make sure the customer understands that these are the conflicts and issues that we get. Because like me, I sit back sometimes. Is whoever that first vendor is, we should all be on the same page. That if it's 100 people or more, we should automatically plan for a 3 hour setup time.
hmm
I stress that across the
And
board because
and but you got to remember one little thing to throw up in there, Mario. I didn't mean to cut you off, but one little thing. If your event starts at 4, that does not mean we get in at 1. Okay?
right,
Because your guests are going to start arriving about 45
right,
minutes, 30 to
Exactly.
45 minutes before the start.
you
So
Exactly.
always
that
have a
means we need to get
cushion.
in there by 12 or 11:30. Okay?
Exactly.
Just so you know.
And see, my thing is, my goal is, if let's say if your event starts at 4, I automatically back off 30 minutes.
Exactly.
So
hmm
then, so my setup time to be ready is 3:30. I need to have everything ready by
hmm
3:30, and
Exactly.
that's because I don't want to see I don't want to see the guests coming in seeing
Yes.
me set
Yeah.
up. So that's just me. When I do my planning paper with the contract, I make sure I put all the information in there.
Yeah.
So
And we do, but here's the thing that I'm going to say. A lot of times, because I run across this with the videographers, photographers, and sometimes the caterers too. The clients are not reading these contracts.
they're
Correct.
not
They're
Correct.
not reading them. They're not understanding the specifics about time.
right.
As much as we might explain it to them, I don't think they're really paying attention. And when we do our reviews, because Mario, you do one about 2 weeks before your event, I think,
One
your
week, yeah, I do
final
that 1 week
final
prior.
stuff.
Yeah, right, 1 week prior. I'd
Okay.
always do it that.
And I
I
try to
always
do
do it
mine
that
about
Tuesday. I'd always do it that Tuesday prior. But go ahead.
I try to do mine about 30 days out before the event. Okay. Because that is allowing time to fix anything that's not on point for
Mm.
me. And that's coming from a planner's perspective. As a decorator, it's 2 weeks out
Right.
because I'm still trying to make sure because my planner mind is still in play with decorator mind. But it's just in my planner contracts it says 30 days out. In my decorator's contract it says 2 weeks out because
Well,
that's when I can catch stuff. You know
right.
what I'm saying? The stuff that they didn't do right or whatever and try to get it fixed in the meantime. But I just really I'm that person for the last 2, 3 years we've been doing this thing. I've been fussing. Please read your contracts. Please read
Exactly.
your contracts. Because
Exactly.
it's so important that you understand exactly what you're signing up for. Because in the midst of the conversation, you're excited you found a great place.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, we're all human. We get it. We get excited too. But you being excited about this perfect location, you're not listening to what they're saying to you. Are you taking notes?
Right.
Where your pencil at? Or your pen at? Are you taking notes of what they're saying? Because you're not listening. You're so engulfed in, oh, this is such a great place. You need to be paying attention to the rules,
Right.
the policies, the
Right.
terms.
Because the biggest thing, and think about it, this is, and we all know the shutdown time and the breakdown
Mm,
time are always the biggest challenges because they
Exactly.
don't understand when the venue says you have to be out of here by 11 p.m. The next question is that just only my guests or is that my guests and my vendors? That question needs to be clarified because most of the time they just don't get it. Like for example, you got some venues that once the event is completed, you got 1 hour. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's not good planning for us because if our contract says the event is over at 10 o'clock and you're supposed to give us 1 hour for breakdown after the event is over, that means we got to be out by 11. But if they end at 9:30, you're trying to tell me I got to be out of here by 10:30? So that's where clarification needs to be
Right.
clear because, like, for us, the planning, we're planning for things to be over by 10. So if we have a team that needs to come in, we're telling our team to get our team coming in 30 minutes late is not going to help us.
Correct.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Mm-mm. Even if we're only the decorating team, even if Young and Lovely is the decorating team for an event, and we're done at 3:15, 3:30 for a 4 o'clock event, we'll probably leave. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And if it's supposed to end at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and we know we have to be out by midnight or whatever, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You know you have
Um,
the time.
yeah, we come back 30 minutes before it's supposed to end.
Right.
So we can start pre-breaking down. So pick up charger plates, pick up empty glasses, whatever we got to do. We do all of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I think, for me, because it's in our contract, based on the number of people, because I have to base on the number of tables that's going to be set up.
Right.
We have a 3 hour mandate on the front end, and that is not if it starts at 4. We get in at 1. It's not the same thing. We have a 3 hour mandatory time at the beginning and a 2 hour mandatory time at the end.
10. Right.
And if
Right.
you got to pay for them 5 hours, that's on you because you picked that venue.
Right.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's
Because
and
there's
that's one
plenty
of
of
the
them out
things.
there that give you an all day rental. I'm just saying.
Right.
And I think that's why I like with Marriott, like with all my venues, like Skyview, Mariani's, and Intrigue venue. I love working with them because I'm not rushing onto a time clock. Um, when it comes time to break down, I'm not jumping through hoops to break down. And then even sometimes Studio 215 works with me also, but it's like it's always worse when there's a time everybody's stressed. Anytime that the
Hmm.
venue has these ridiculous time requirements, everybody's going to be stressed. The
Very.
vendors are going to be stressed. The guests, the actual person that the overall boss, in a sense, the person signing the contract, we're all going to be stressed because that time is we don't want our customers to have to pay that extra money, but we have to be
Hmm.
realistic at the same time. That look, hey, you're
And
trying
that's the thing. Yeah.
you try to get us out. You want us to be done in 5 minutes, and I know Chris, you just went through that before, where you went through and you did all that to be helpful, and then they say, "Hey, you got to be out here in 30 minutes." Um,
Yep.
it's not realistic. Most of the time, most of the customers and the venues are not realistic with time, and I get it. Yeah, the venues are trying to make money, but the customer just doesn't comprehend it until they're in it, and
And
Right.
that's
that's the
why
thing
it's
we're trying
important.
to avoid them being is in it so that it's not something that affects all of the vendors,
Right. Because like I said,
you know.
if you hit them as a coordinator, as a planner, as a decorator, and me and Chris hit them with the same time requirements as vendors, then we're on the same thing. But
Hmm.
I'm telling you, you'll have one decorator. Oh yeah, we could do it within 1 hour. And at that time, just because you said that, you don't mess it up for all the other vendors.
Okay. Keep
So it's
your
like
mouth. Oh,
now we
sorry,
have to go
sorry.
back and we have to justify. Like, it's like if you had the opportunity to say, hey, because like me, like we had a meeting the other day, um, and they were saying that we got 2 hours. Do y'all need another hour? I said, I most definitely. I said, I think that would be benefit me and the coordinator or the decorator because we're coming at the same time to set up. I said, giving us a little more flexibility time that makes it easy for us to where we're not stressed or worried. So
Hmm.
that's technically as vendors on the same team, we got to be thinking about the other person. Because me, I'm always thinking about the other person.
Right.
I'm always because
Hmm.
like I see especially if I see some like okay, here it is, we got a space big enough for 100 people, but then you invited 100 people. Then I'm like, okay, yeah, you because now we got to figure it out.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So we gotta need
And
some
that's
extra
another
time
thing.
to figure it out. Go ahead.
As a customer, I want y'all to understand something. When you're hiring these vendors, you need to make a connection between your vendors because we have to work together to
Oh
make your
yeah.
event successful. And we can't have the caterer don't want to speak to nobody or the planner don't want to talk to the DJ.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And for those vendors out there that have that kind of, well, I'm gonna run my show. Boo boo, listen. There's a cast going on,
Right.
okay, and you're a part of the cast. You ain't running the whole show by yourself.
Right.
I'm gonna need you to be a bit more respectful than that and understand that this we're in a service industry, hospitality industry. That means we have to work together as a team to make every event that we do successful.
Absolutely.
That means you too. You got to work with us too. Stop being like that.
But
Yep.
we also,
Okay.
but that's one of the things we gotta understand is
Off my
like,
soapbox.
oh, you good. But like I said, but the thing is, we've been doing this for so long as professionals, we know what to expect from the other vendors.
Correct.
So
Hmm.
like when we know, okay, videographer coming in, okay, we're gonna look out for the videographer, make sure he or she has a connection in to capture sound in our
Right.
Hmm.
system. That's just that's a professional that's been doing it for a long time. I'm
Hmm.
not going to allow them to move forward until the videographer and photographer is set up to
And
recapture
ready to
everything
go.
that's going on.
Exactly.
I've seen it happen too many times where an unexperienced DJ will just go with the flow and not pay attention to the other logistics
Mm.
of the room to just what's going on. But that's something to where again, having that experience. If you it's just like I'm not going to say, hey, we're gonna move forward with something and the rest of the team is not ready.
Correct.
And I think that's where we have to be able to communicate. Where I love like so my photographers, my videographers. I know that photographer that was running the selfie station. I know she was tired of me because I was consistently, hey, if you want to be famous, you better get over here and get your pictures taken. I was constantly saying it, and it's like she got. I think she said she had got over like 100 and something like shots as far as the groups that she was doing,
Hmm.
Right.
which was she made. I mean, she did good.
Right.
So we have to be able to support and promote like the photo. I mean, like the caterer. Oh my gosh, I'm saying that was probably the best caterer I ever had because I never had a caterer bring me food like consistently. I'm telling you, if I would have got one more of those little waffles with BLT on it, I would have been sleeping in the corner somewhere. I mean, I mean, and the thing is, they were so good. I actually had to take a picture of it because me when I go somewhere and the caterer, I normally don't eat, but when they were like they had three different waitresses come over there, bringing me little finger foods. "Oh, sir, would you like to try one of these?" I said, "Dang, someone just brought me." I said, "Y'all keep this up and be sleeping in the corner. Y'all keep it up." But they were bringing them and they were good. So the next time they brought, I said, "I'm gonna take some pictures. I'm gonna post them. I'm after the show. I'm gonna post them too. I'm gonna take some pictures of this because this is some good food." I said,
Right.
Hmm.
I'm telling you, y'all keep it up now. I'm gonna be out here with the guests. I'm gonna forget about DJing just because the food was good. But what we did was we turned around, we did a shout out to the caterer saying,
Hmm.
if like and what DJs do is if you like the food, let's give it a hand clap for caterer such Elliot, blah, blah,
Exactly.
blah. And then you
Exactly.
give them a clap. That's working together as a team. It's just
That's
Exactly.
right.
so if you enjoyed the decorations, let's give it for our decorator, such and such.
Hmm.
We promote each other, and that's what we do as a team. But like you said though, Tish, is that if you put me with somebody I know is a crook, that every time they're always late, they never do what they were supposed to do, and they always
Mm.
cause an argument with the customer, I don't want to work with them.
Exactly.
I don't want to work with it because I know that the event's not going to work together. But that's one of those layers that a customer has to take into consideration is are my vendors going to be team players?
Let me footnote real quick. Just a couple of things real fast because I know we're gonna do like an hour or something. But weekend before last, I was at a venue that you and I both don't service. Okay, but the person that asked for the rental items,
Okay,
I
okay,
she didn't pick the location. Somebody else did, and so I said, okay, I'll deliver them, set them up real quick, and then I'll go, and I'll come back and break them. Pack them back up. It was just
right,
some letters, right? So I get there and I back in the back, where everybody is coming through the back as vendors, and I'm literally I unpacked all the stuff out of the car, was inside, and I was getting the letters unwrapped. Okay, I was on my last letter, unwrapping it. The security guard came to me and said, is that your car back there? I said, the green car? I mean, the blue car? He said, yeah. I said, that's me. He said, I'm gonna need you to move your car. I said, if you give me like 3 minutes, I'll be done with this. I'm just gonna wrap this last one. Do you know he was nastier with his response to that? I said, okay. I went and moved my car, moved it way out, had to come back in, walk through the rain, come back in, finish the last letter, get all my box together, and then go back and move my car back again to the building to pack it all up. And his biggest statement to me was, "Well, that's my job. That's what they tell me to do here." I said, "They tell you to be nasty to vendors. This is why a lot of people don't book this place anymore because y'all aren't vendor friendly." Now I said that directly to him, and I know the owner of that venue. Have known him for 30 years, but for
Right.
the last what about 10 or more have refused to do anything at his venue because his people and he especially are so nasty to people, so rude. When you can't work with people and you can't work with venues, what y'all fail to understand is Mario and I are like in a lot of ways. Chris, I'm not sure about this about you, but I'm pretty sure it might be true about you. Over 60 to 70% of our business is word of mouth.
Hmm.
That's most of our business.
Yeah, that is.
Because people who attend things that we do, attend an event that we were involved with, come to a party that we've done, come to a wedding that we've done, they get our information either while they're there from
Yep.
one of our for us or one of my team members, or they get it from the client.
Correct.
And
Yep.
next thing we know, we're getting calls and say, "Well, I went to so and so's event, so and so's birthday party, so and so's wedding, or whatever." That's the majority of our. That's the same thing for you venues, but your word of mouth is mostly from us as vendors. You might want to watch how you treat us. You might want to watch how you treating our clients too, because a sham is a sham is a sham, and that extra time, that light bill ain't gonna be that high if you give them the extra couple hours at the beginning and at the end in the contract. You don't
Right.
have to be so money hungry because what's meant for you, I'm according to the Bible, I'm about to quote the Bible. What's meant for you is for you, and it will come to you if God says you're in a good standing. But when you keep continuing to do stuff like this, you're gonna be like quite a few of these mugs that went out of business because new ones popping up every day, boo boo, and they will find another place to put their event. I promise you that. Okay, I'm done. Soapbox gone. Bam, go.
But that's just, but that goes back to where, again, that's why I won't provide services to that venue or the other venue, in Fayetteville, is because of I did customer service sucks. They'll do everything to get the customer to sign a contract and then turn to, I'm about to say the wrong word. Let me, they turn to trash, and they start mistreating the vendors, the customer, everything. So I just refuse to do business there. Uh, at both of those locations is because it's a setup
Hmm.
for failure. We have to, everything has to be set for a chance of success. If right off the back
Yeah,
I know it's going to be failure, then I can't do it. It's just one of those things. It's just like you have a coordinator, a planner. If you don't do it their way, they'll force you to do something to fire them. So, but look at how much stress and much you. My thing is, and this is one thing when the customer fires the coordinator, the planner, um, it makes it bad for all of
on
us.
site during an event.
Well, I mean,
Okay,
most of the
now
time,
that's
yeah,
I've
I've only had that
listen.
happen.
I've
I've only had that
never.
happen once. That's only been once that I've had that happen where they fired the planner on site. But most of the
Hmm.
time, majority of the time, mine is always fired prior to the event. And when they're prior
Oh,
to the
okay,
event,
okay.
it's a little bit different because then now they don't have any trust in us because of what happened with that one vendor. And we have to
Hmm.
go back and work harder to make sure, hey, look, your event's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. So
And look,
I know Chris, you got some great stories because I remember a
well,
couple of yours.
well, no, I was gonna say after that soap opera. Look, I done put up my effects now.
You did what?
After that soap opera, I done pulled up my fix. Now I got a
Oh,
fix now. I got a fix for now for going further now. Moving forward, I got a fix now.
that's why I said, yeah, that's why I said, um, that's one of those things I was saying before is we have to, and that's why I'm big on promoting networking. I'm real big on promoting who I network with and things like that because if I refer Chris or if I refer Tish, I know the quality work. But if I get a bad report, oh, Chris, he messed up. He did this. I'm just like, okay, wait a minute. He did what? Because I know his reputation. I know he's not going to fail the customer. And then the thing is, he's going to go the extra 5 miles that I'm not willing to go. So that's just something that I know. Like when I know he's going to go the extra 5 miles, I'm only going to go one extra mile. He's going to go extra 5. And you had a problem with Chris, I know there's something wrong. So it's just one of those things to where we have to take time out to properly layer. And then, like I said, most of the clients, they procrastinate. And that is the biggest thing is when they procrastinate, they cause us to have to jump through hoops at the last minute. And it's like if we get the information and the stuff that we need, we can be more effective. Me, if I go into an event and I don't have a timeline because I'm not just a DJ, I'm the videographer, the photographer in the sense. And one, I can't do the other two because now I can't leave my station because I have no idea what you're going to throw at me.
Exactly.
So now I got to stay put. So most of the time when we don't know, like, okay, photographer, I'm afraid to go to the bathroom because I don't know when they're going to do this. It's like I'm afraid to eat anything because they might want, and that's happened quite a few times where we're waiting on a photographer or a videographer because they didn't have a timeline of what was going on.
Exactly.
Yep. Which is weird to me because you guys, I know y'all have timelines that you send to your clients.
Most of the time, yes. This thing is, we send it. Now we 100% we send it to them, but do we get it back? That's a different story.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true too. Because I have issues with that sometimes too. So,
but that's one of those layers that we have to have. Is like when we go in, and then like the first layer is the venue itself. Okay, do we have the appropriate spacing? Do we have what is your vision? How's this going to work? If you're not having a realistic vision, like I think I'm gonna put the DJ booth out in the balcony. Did you tell the DJ that you're gonna put him in the balcony? That's the like, and see, to me, I had that happen before. I showed up. Hey, we're gonna put you in the balcony. That's a funny joke. You see that thing over there? Are you going to pick that on your back and take it up them stairs? I mean, it's like now I could I have accommodated it if I would have known in advance? Yes,
correct.
If I would have known in advance, I could have brought something to where I could have gone up on the balcony. But now in my contract, I don't do stairs. I'll make it very clear. So to me, one of the biggest hiccups is does the venue have a handicap ramp to get in? You won't believe how many venues do not have a ramp or a handicap entrance to get into it. So most times, if there's a handicap, that means it's for a DJ. We can roll our stuff in with no problem.
Exactly.
But when they don't have it, which in most cases you're dealing with these barns out in the boonies where nobody's going to come check on them, they'll get away with that. Beautiful venue, but we can't roll in.
Oof.
And that goes for decorators too, because we have carts.
Right.
We need to get them in the building, and we have some large things sometimes too. So that consideration needs to be. That's why I said the venues need to be careful about how they're treating these vendors.
Right.
Because you can lose a lot of business by not treating the vendors. Because we warn each other. We talk.
Okay. Oh yeah, because my thing is just like I said, because I know with Iron Mike used to be Iron Mike has calmed down a lot on Fort Liberty, but once upon a time they were hardcore about that 1 hour. They're extremely hardcore about you got to be out within 1 hour, and when they were doing that, all it did was cause more problems than what it worked. So now we got to shut down 30 minutes early because it's going to take me an hour and 30 minutes to break down. But when you go into Mariani's, which is one of those favorite venues, is he'll let you get in anytime you need to. You come the day before. He'll let you
Sometimes
come
y'all
in
was
and
gonna
do
say
this.
sometimes you get in there the day before,
Yeah, you
to
get it
be
the day
honest.
before. Same thing with the Intrigue venue. I know Skyview is limited. Skyview and two because they stay consistently busy to where they can't do
Hmm
the day prior, but they'll work with you the day of.
Now I've had a client that booked Skyview. This is no joke for an event, and they had a 12 o'clock. They had a 12 to something time frame, and I was like, "What?" So I talked to I can't remember which one of the ladies was there then, but I talked to the young lady there, and she's like, "Tish, we see you at 10." I was like,
right,
"Okay." They're easygoing.
right. They're team players. They're team players to
Yes.
where they're gonna work with you and they're gonna make sure that you get in. But like I said, but then you have like you have some venues. Okay, if they're giving you 12 hours, there's no excuse. I'm sorry.
None.
There's no excuse. So like you have a Villa, excuse me, for Sky Villa, they give you that 12 hours. They have the 10 hour and 12 hour.
They
Um,
have, and usually you can start as early as 10.
as early as 10 if you request it, but
Mhm.
normally it's at 12 o'clock, and then it
Mhm.
goes from that time to time. So you can do from 10 to 12, 12 to 12, but it gives you that flexibility. And
Mhm.
that is one of the key factors that brings us all together as vendors is we can get in there and work side by side and get ready and prepared. Now,
And
when it
knock it
comes
down.
time for the entertainment piece, when it comes time to get involved with the actual function itself, it is crucial that the caterer understands setup time.
Mm.
It is, let me say that again. It is crucial that the caterer understands setup time. How many times have you had you be in the middle of the event and the caterer is just now showing up to set up?
Okay, you see my hand up, right?
That is the worst thing. You here it is. They're doing reflection of was it reflection of time? Was it reflection of? I can't remember what my mind just went blank. But you're doing words of encouragement, words of
Words of
reflection,
wisdom.
words of wisdom. And here it
Mhm.
is. You hear the clink, 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 clink. You know, and we're all looking like, what's going on? That is
And do you know how
something.
many times a planner gets blamed for that? Like we
Yeah,
didn't schedule
yeah,
them right. What? They late. What you
right.
want me to do? They late.
But that's
Listen,
Oh
something
my
when
that
I'm on
goodness.
again.
DJ corner, like, not me.
But
Mhm.
that's just something again is that we it takes away from our as a team coming out successful
Mhm.
is when you see a caterer come in and they're making all kinds of noises and I mean it's like wow really and it's crazy so it's kind of like one of those things and then the like as the DJ let's like I'm gonna get on the DJ the photographer videographer look, we don't need to become looking for you and come to find you in the corner eating up all the meat and everything off of the thing. Okay. It's like that's why my rule of thumb is I don't eat. Them people are bringing food to me. I didn't go to them. I'm still in
Now
my
I
station.
usually, if you and I are together, I try to bring you a plate or to go plate because I know
Right.
you're
I
not
always
supposed
get
to
a
eat
to go
during
plate.
that.
Most times I get a
I
to
always
go
try to
plate.
bring you a to go plate. Yeah,
But
because you
it's
don't
one of those
really eat
things to where
during.
the focus is the event. You're not
Okay.
going to look like we're going to get things started, and then I look up and I got barbecue sauce already around my mouth. It's just unprofessional.
See, when I eat, I'm very cognizant of we are in the program. If I eat, I don't go to town eating. Right? I'll eat, but it might be 2 bites, 3 bites, and I'm
Right.
very cognizant of what's going on. Like so, a lot of times it's not a full meal. It's like a couple bites just to make sure
Mhm.
I'm good to go throughout the full day. But like you said, I'm not just sitting down somewhere eating. They'll have a vendor's table. You'll never see me at
You
a
never
vendor.
see it in this tip, right?
You'll never see me there.
And that's one of those things that
And
is
I've
good.
actually stopped requiring them.
Well, see, that's a
I've actually
good
stopped
thing
requiring them.
because
Yes.
you don't have to go looking for. There's been how many times I
Mm-mm.
had to go look. I'm going to look for the videographer and the photographer because I have no idea where they're
And
sitting at.
sometimes the planner.
I was just about to
Yeah,
say, look,
yeah.
Not that it
Sometimes,
was me. I'm just saying it wasn't
no, no,
me.
not
right,
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 right.
right, right,
No,
right,
no,
right.
look, I've seen it happen where the planner got food before the guests. Um, and then there was enough food left over for the rest of the guests. Yeah, I've seen that. So it's kind of like one of those things to where we want to contribute to the success, not take away from it.
Okay, so we're going to state right now for all of the new vendors in our industry and some of these old heads that think they are more important than guests. Listen carefully. Eat before you get there that
Right,
morning. You can order pizza for delivery at most venues. There's
right,
usually a Domino's somewhere by, probably a Pizza Hut too. And most venues take, they let you get deliveries so that before the event starts, you can feed your team.
right,
Okay. As decorators. Oh no, let me back up. So don't get the stuff in your face. And remember, this is not your event. We like to say it's our event, but it's really not. It's the client's event. It's
Exactly.
for the guest's enjoyment. And it's
Exactly.
your job to make sure all those things go smoothly,
right.
no matter what your vendor position is. Okay. Done. Go.
And I think that's where uh I'm about to dive up on the table like what. But I think that's one of the key things is that we have to understand professionalism. That is so crucial, and we're starting to see a slack of professionalism in our industry,
Yep.
to where we're not
Starting.
taking things seriously. It's like you'll get someone that like they'll like you said they'll go grab a whole plate of food, go back again. I mean I've seen it happen where vendors go back get 3-4 plates, and I mean and make it crystal clear. Man, look, I'm going to get me another one. I'm like, it's like it's not that time. And then look, don't get me started with your uniform. Um, the most
Oh
common.
my
Oh, I got to
Lord.
check. Um, okay. Hey, Brad. Look, I'm sorry I didn't see the chat just 2 minutes ago. There we go. Hey, y'all. Hey, Brad, our famous photographer, videographer.
Hey, Brad.
Make me sit. And then,
Oh yeah, we're really late.
yeah, I just like he just posted this. I just saw this. Um,
hmm Look
okay,
at Mama Jean,
this is I
Mario.
see her. But that's one of the things that we have to police ourselves, because sometimes it gets to the point where
And
like
sometimes each other.
and because like my thing is the last thing I hate seeing is when someone who's supposed to be on one of the vendor teams come in and their pants is sagging off their butt at a wedding.
Mm,
Um, it just looks bad. I mean, even though yet you know what, you don't work for me, but we are all vendors, so you make us all look bad. That
hmm
is something that I know, like again, Chris wears a 3-piece suit all the time. Oh, he wears a suit. I just wear a vest. I wear like a vest, and, dress pants and a shirt. And I know your team, most times they're always wearing black and white.
hmm
So it's like
No,
that's the
black on black. Because
black on black,
but it's black and gold. Because
right,
our words are in gold. And that's if I'm not directing, I'm dressed like my team.
right,
If I am the planner, then I change clothes
right,
and I dress in something differently. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Right.
Because the whole point of my team is for we blend in and we disappear in the background. So we're
right,
never in front of anything, and we can't
Right.
be like I don't want a photographer to get back pictures. And he got my team everywhere,
right,
every which way. That's why a
Right.
lot of times if we're decorating, we leave
Right.
and
right,
we go eat something
right,
together as a team and come back.
right.
Right. Right.
But see,
So we're
me,
out of the way.
I have this big thing about if you're handling food and your butt and your pants are sagging off your butt, I'm not eating any of your food. I'm not because at any given time you got to reach for your pants.
hmm
You're not touching my food. I'm
Right.
sorry. So I mean that's just again it's just a common courtesy, but we're starting to see that's a trend that is starting to get
Right.
worse in our industry, making us look bad. Um,
hmm
and again now uh, if again and this more so up to the client because I know the client sometimes the client sometimes the environment is just that. That's the type of environment they want. That like, okay, I get it. I'm not eating that food, but I get it.
Right.
But that's where we have to, as vendors, we got to police each other. We got to work for each other. And that's one of the things I stress to people is networking. Is if we got a strong network, we're going to keep the professionals up.
Mm-hmm.
For those that make us look back as an industry, we can't. And this is one thing. It's not about like it's like kicking people to the curb. It's about having a standard, and we have to have a standard because once there's one bad standard, they make us all look bad. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, that's very
It
true.
makes us all look bad. So when we're building these layers of how we're going to get the event done, we all have. First thing is we all got to be professional.
Correct.
First
Mm-hmm.
thing is that we always look out for the other. Like if you're asking me how much time I need, I'm gonna say 3 hours. Do I need
Correct.
3 hours? No, but I know that if you hear it from all the vendors that you need 3 hours, then that
Yeah.
means that that one vendor that really needs that 3 hours, we're looking out for them, and we're not
Correct.
putting all that pressure on them.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I even take time to educate the like, actually, and the first thing you see on that slide is 3 hours for setup. And they'll say,
Mm-hmm.
well, I say, well, for me, I know it takes me 1 hour to set up the DJ booth for the reception. It takes me 30 minutes to 45 minutes to set up all the lights and light effects. And then maybe 15 minutes to set up the selfie station. And then if I gotta go set up the ceremony, that's another 30 minutes. I
Correct.
said,
Mm-hmm.
so I just want to make sure that we're setting everybody up for success. I know that decorator, if you got 100 guests and you're doing the full shebang, where you're doing chair covers, you're doing tablecloths, because the chair covers alone take a very long time.
They are a nightmare.
So that's those are things that we have to learn. Like it's good to cross train. I know that's what y'all doing this weekend, Tisha. Y'all doing
Mm-hmm.
training. Is we gotta learn how to understand what the other person is doing. If the caterer, now we all know the
Yeah.
caterer, they're coming in, they're setting up, they're feeding, and they get out of our dodge. Um, that no one works out perfect. So we have to make sure that during the plan as DJs, we're not trying to do something while they're taking the food or taking stuff out. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
we're able to. There's something going on to distract people from that piece going on because most again going back to the venues,
Mm-hmm.
most times there's only one way in, one way out.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So all I need to be taken into
And we
consideration.
all got to share the same doors. Mm-hmm.
We all got
Exactly.
to share the same
It
door.
does.
And my thing is, and this is the thing that hurts me the most. If you're the first one there, you download your equipment, please move your vehicle out the way.
Right.
If you know, it's
Thank
like
you.
they will leave their vehicle there the entire time. Hey Kathy, um
Hey,
they will
Kathy.
they will leave their vehicle there the entire time and just disregard the rest of us as vendors. That have, if you know that ain't number one door, please move your vehicle out the way. Download your equipment and get it out the way.
Now,
If
let me
I'm
express this one quick thing. When I was at that venue the week before last, I was the last vendor to show up. I'm just saying.
right,
On purpose because I knew there was limited space back there to get in. But go ahead.
but that's just something to where that all that needs to be taken into consideration. Hello, cat. Okay, okay, okay. Here we go. Hello, cat. Okay, but that's something that we have to take consideration. We got to work together as a team. But like I know
Mm-hmm.
that one event we did together, Tish. Boy, I thought, look, Chris, let me tell you, I thought it was. I thought we WWF the way the looks and stuff we were getting. I'm just
Right.
waiting for the belt. I was just waiting for our theme songs to come in so we can take it out on the dance floor because we were ready. We were ready. We were ready to go, boy. And it's just like that's one of those things to where we got to make sure because I'm telling you, like, wow, what do we do? Like, like we getting these dirty looks. Like, okay, what is UCF? What's going on? Like, we about to throw down? But we have to work together, and we're not competing. And
Mm-hmm.
God
It's so
knows
important.
we're not competing during the event. I will
Exactly.
never forget. We had one event. I had never in my life seen a sweet station take up the entire wall. Never seen it before. So I had to readjust my whole setup because they took up the entire wall for sweet table. And then guess what? That sweet table had a lot of stuff left over
Over at the end
after
of the
the
night.
event was over.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm talking about 3 8-foot tables were for sweets.
I'm
Three,
sorry.
yes.
How many people were there? 400?
No,
500?
there was only 150 people.
Mm.
But
Mm.
That's
this
excellent.
vendor was for well known for for their suite table. So they had, don't get me wrong, now it was probably one of the best suite tables I've ever seen, but it just that because it was so crowded in there,
Right.
it just that I had to adjust. But when we did the floor plan, that was not part of the plan. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I wonder,
That's another
like,
thing, the floor plans.
like, look, I get it. Look, we're vendors, but I mean, if we ain't getting paid millions and millions of dollars, there ain't no superstars up in here.
I just need one.
I mean, for real. But
That's
that's
it.
one of the things that we have to learn as vendors. We have to take time out. It's just like we did, me, Chris, we did an actual a get together with the DJs, and we talked about the different trends. We talked, and I know I beat myself up because y'all remember I wanted to do like a special kind of conference where we get everybody together, like the boot camp we did before, Tish,
Yeah.
where we
Mm-hmm.
get everybody together and we talk about this stuff as an industry, so we can better our industry. Like right now, like we were talking about with the DJ side, we don't know if we're coming and going with the price range. You know, we got price ranges that start from 200 and go up to 3,000, and
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty much all the same. I mean, like when it comes to certain,
Service wise, yeah.
yeah. So it's like, so what's going on? So we have to find some sense of balance. I know in one area you have the big companies are controlling the outcome on the price. Um, we got some clients that said that they're not even going to um, pay money for a DJ. They're just going to go get their high speed phone and connect it with their own playlist through Spotify. I hate when I hear that because it puts them at a disadvantage of what a DJ entertainer really does to really do better or I should say, to promote their event and to hype
Mm-hmm.
people up and do everything for it. So we have to get control over the different things that are taking place, especially like I said, it goes back to the layers of success. What are we doing to let the customers know that these are the things that are going to benefit the success of your event? If we're not standing up and saying those things and we're allowing things to fall, like, yeah, you know what? She did ask me, did I need more time for setup? But I said, nah, I thought 20 minutes was enough time for me. You know, you're just screwing it over for everybody else.
The only other the only other aspect that I can say to you is this. I know that a lot of times it comes down to money. Um, and I'm gonna be very, very blunt and honest, and I hope nobody takes this the wrong way. But you have to be realistic with this money, with the cost of an event. Be realistic. And if you can't match those numbers, if that money can't come out your pocket, you may want to consider scaling it back some. You may want to consider changing the venue. Because if you're paying $3,000 or more for a venue, be prepared to pay more than that for your
Right.
decor. Be prepared to pay more than that for your food. You got to understand
Yeah.
pricing. And guess what, y'all? Google is free
Yeah.
every
Yep.
day.
Yeah.
Okay? Google
And
it.
that's one of the things is that we're looking at now. Like I'll sit back and I'll look at pricing and I'll be like, okay, is this cake worth the same value of my services?
Correct.
Then to me, I have to say, well, wait a minute. This cake might have something special about it that I don't know about. I can't tell by plain sight. So
Hmm.
I can't judge it just because. So you have to like, and I tell people when you come with your prices, let it be about you and your services. Don't try to compare it to other things. Well, I've heard it so many times. Well, if
Hmm.
they can pay $5,000 for the venue shoot, they can pay $2,000 for me. Don't judge it on the other thing. Judge it on the services that you're providing. I've seen
Well, in some aspects, you have to kind of judge it on the venue because if it's a higher end venue, you have to bring higher end supplies. You understand what I'm saying? There's going to be a certain level as a decorator, just as
right,
a
right,
decorator,
right,
I'm not
right, right,
speaking on
right. As a
nobody else.
decorator is
There are
different.
sometimes I have to
Right.
consider the
Well,
venue, and it's not about what they paid for, but I can tell you if they're paying 5,000, $10,000 for this venue, they're expecting a certain
right.
level,
That's
a
different.
very high level of decor.
But no, I've heard it. Now, when
You know
I
what I'm
say
saying?
that,
So,
I'm saying that I've heard DJs will just use that as a justification to raise their price.
Correct. But I think
Dec-
I think I
oh
think
yeah, that's not
her
right.
comment still would go in the DJ aspect too. But the problem is we and when I say we, you and Mario and me, we both have the equipment. We've invested in that equipment, so we
Right,
can go in those venues. We can go in any venue. So we already have the equipment that can go in the high scale um,
right,
venues. So
Hmm.
we're not really worried about it. The problem is maybe other DJs don't have that equipment, but they're hearing, oh well, they pay 5,000 for that venue. Well, then I should be able to pay 2,000, but then they don't come with the actual
right,
equipment to support, their services or support their claim.
right,
And it's kind of what I was saying the other day in our group is, you have to be realistic with yourself. There was a post going around, and there's the well-known company up in Raleigh that they wanted, and all these other DJs were putting their names out there, but some of them were club DJs. Never, they don't have anything that screams out to the client that they're wedding DJs or any kind of
right,
anything with the industry of wedding. It's all club, but you're trying to now project yourself in the same light as this professional wedding DJ, right? But and then you're trying to undercut that company and saying,
right,
"Well, I can do it for 500."
right.
Right. So yeah, you probably can, but you probably do not have the means as that well-known professional wedding DJ company to do it. So what is the quality you're gonna provide versus that company? So
And I think that's one of the things that what I was saying is that when we have to adjust. Now, when I say the venue, I'm just talking about just go in and that. But if your venue requires you to have to bring additional equipment, then
right,
of course that price is going to go up.
correct,
But I've just seen just because
Hmm.
they seen the venue, oh yeah, you know what? Or they hear the figures. What they paid $10,000 for the venue? Oh shoot, I'm going to charge $3,000.
correct,
I mean, and you'll have vendors that will do that just because.
correct,
But like as a coordinator or decorator, your price is not justified by the venue by itself. Is normally it's the numbers.
correct,
Normally it's the
Hmm.
numbers
The
and the
numbers
type.
affect
Like
us.
if they're going to get the chargers, the napkins, the all the above, the full works, then of course those numbers are going to go up. So that justifies the price.
Yeah. Yeah.
right,
But just because of like you walk in and you hear, oh, they paid $10,000. Well, you know what? I'm charging 2,000. That's not how we do business.
correct,
Now, if you
No.
have to bring additional speakers because
Mm-mm.
that venue holds like 500 people or something like that, then that makes sense. But we have to stop trying to nickel and dime the customers, and that's where our industry has changed drastically to where, like, again, your worth is your worth. My thing is, if you feel as though as a DJ you're worth $5,000, hey, that's your value, that's what you're worth. Then go. But my thing is this: if it don't make sense to the customer, the chance of you getting that job anyway is not going to work out
correct,
anyways.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
again, it's just layers. We have to. I think that's the biggest piece. I know when me and Tish, when we first met, that was our biggest thing was to educate. Is to educate, educate,
And it's
educate, and
it's still a
that's
thing. And I really feel like we should probably reintroduce the boot camp sometime this year. But make it about vendors this
right,
time first. Like you guys did the meeting with the DJs, I would love it if we could do one with decorators or planners, you know what I'm
right,
saying? Caterers. Let's get a mix of people together so we can all kind of talk about the things that we encounter and how we can all come together on one page. Every city in every state of this country has different prices and different ranges and all that. But if we could start just getting some of our North Carolina vendors around the same average, it would benefit the whole entire industry
right,
across the board. Because I
right,
feel for the ones that I see lowballing pricing for an event. When I'm thinking in my mind, you lowball because you want to beat somebody out, but you also got to spend most of that money on all the equipment,
right.
either rent it or buying it.
Well,
So
see
did you
me,
really make any money?
and see me when I see, especially DJs. When I see DJs, I really try to promote and help the DJs. Like I know, like
Hmm.
this year, I know I got caught up with a lot of different things. So like the booklet that I always make every year that supports all the vendors is I got to send it out to
Hmm.
everybody so that they can see what it looks like, and then from there they can see how I'm promoting everybody. It's like, and I know
Hmm.
during the DJ meeting, I tell them I said send me an 8x10 flyer. I already know my situation. I only got but like four Saturdays left open for the rest of the year. So
Mm-hmm.
when someone contacts me, I'm going to refer it out and say when I eat, we all eat, and
Mm-hmm.
that's always been my thing since I began to do this. It's like I'm
And
not
that's
going to
been
try to
our thing. That's why we connected so well, because that's
right,
exactly how the hell we feel the same exact way about that.
right. Is that
I want everybody to eat.
we gotta look out for our industry. So it's like when I get like and Chris knows it because he gets most of my referrals is is that when I can't do it, I refer it to Chris or I refer it to another DJ that's local here. And then there's other DJs based on what they're looking for. I'll
Mm-hmm.
say, well, here's the whole list, but these DJs here specialize in this, or this, or what you're looking for. Because most time when they want the cloud and they want the sparks, then I only know two DJs. That's Chris and that's Hutch. They have that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
capability. If they're looking for someone who has video capability, okay, I'm gonna go again, Chris and Hutch. So those are things that we're taking care of the customer, and the customer appreciates when you're making it easy for them. When I
Mm-hmm.
sit back and I take time to refer them out, that's what we do. So it's like we have to be able to share. I love how Intrigue, Agape, how we're all work together as venue. And then Skyview is like, hey, we're booked on a day, but you know what? Go to this venue. They're
Mm-hmm.
available. We have a really good like when Skyview and Studio 215 and the Diamond, they have a good working relationship. So that's how we should work as an industry, and that's how we
It would be
um
nice.
and that's what and
Yep.
that's how it should be. But every now and then we'll get because I'm telling you, the moment we get one of these individuals that don't know what they're doing to show up, we're looking sideways at this person because okay, we get it, but you do understand that charger is upside down. It will see stuff to let us know they're just getting started.
Right.
And not trying to be funny, but it's like sometimes it takes a moment to reach out to somebody who's been in the industry for a while. Now, back in the days when I first started, yeah, we had some cutthroats back then that would not do nothing to help other vendors.
There's
But
still some like that now, but there
there's
are
still
there
some,
are more people. My rule of thumb is I can't. Why am I taking to my grave? I'm going to
right,
retire in a few years, so why not share everything that I know? I don't. What they call it, gatekeeping. I don't
right.
gatekeep nothing. Where I
And
get this
so,
from? Oh, let
Exactly.
me tell you. Let me look it up. Let me tell you where I got it from. Or
Exactly.
let me tell you a good thing
Exactly.
about this. Or what I'm saying. I don't. I
Exactly.
don't gatekeep. So I'm one of the
right.
few that I do know. That don't mind. I have literally, um mentored over a dozen planners. A couple of them are right here in North Carolina.
Right.
Three that I could think of right this minute. I got a fourth young lady that just joined our team. She wants to be a balloon designer. You think I'm not going to mentor her so
Right.
she can take off and do her own thing with balloons? Yes, I am.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, I am. Because that's what you're supposed to do. Now
Right.
it's some I'm trying to find it's some Janes out there that never wanted to help anybody. It's some
There's some
uh
pretenders out there that pretend like they
yeah,
know what
it's
they're
a
doing.
yeah, and all that. And I listen, but there are some of us out here that really want to help you succeed.
Right.
We want to see you succeed because we want to see our industry set because we love this industry.
Right.
Right.
We wouldn't be in this mug this long. I'm 26 years in. I wouldn't
Mm.
have been here this long if I didn't love this industry so much.
I
But
got
you have to
13.
understand.
I got
Okay,
I'm halfway there.
that's right. But I'm just saying, if I didn't love this industry, I wouldn't be here this long.
Right.
Um, but there are some of us that really, really care about the industry and want to see it continue to thrive and continue to grow, even when we step down and sit down somewhere. Cause me and Mario leaving y'all soon. I'm just telling y'all that now. In the next few years, we leaving y'all. Cause we getting tired. You when I'm getting a little older, especially Mama over here. I'm getting a little too old. But I feel like a lot of these younger girls, they have the creativity, they have the ability. They just don't have the knowledge base. They don't understand. So why not reach out to somebody that can literally help you?
Right.
But
Yeah.
anyway. So through my soapbox for today. So listen up, guys. Next Wednesday, I feel like we need to have a guest. Are y'all down with that?
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
down.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was thinking there's a couple of caterers that I've been talking to and a couple of photographers that I've been talking to. And I'm gonna send you the information. Y'all figure out which one y'all want to pick. But we're gonna get us a guest next week. We always have a
you know
good
what?
time with the kids.
I'm not gonna lie. I really want to hear a lot from this photographer because of all this new stuff going on with the AI
AI.
capability. I mean, they got AI taking pictures like it ain't nothing. I was like, when I saw that, I was like, what? I'm like, so I said, what? I mean, I saw it and I couldn't believe it. So I was like, yeah, we
This
definitely.
particular photographer in our conversation was mentioning how AI helps enhance his job, where he can do multiple things on site. You gotta just wait to hear. Just wait to. I'll send y'all
Yeah,
his stuff
that's
first.
Okay.
I
Okay.
know because see, I think this. I think the only vendor that's safe right now from AI is a caterer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that they're the
because
only
the
one
rest of
that's
us
safe.
gonna get
You're right.
deleted.
Yeah,
Right.
'cause everybody else,
Yeah.
you might look, you might be losing your job. Like, how'd you get fired your day off? Hey,
Right.
I'm
the
just
AI,
saying.
the AI got me. But
All right.
ladies and gentlemen, I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Like I said, we're going to be back. We always try to have the show at 6 o'clock. I know all three of us have extremely busy schedules, so we might always stay up a few minutes late. So I know, like today, I had a meeting. I went from one meeting right into this show, so just be prepared. Then we'll also sometimes, because I know me and Tish, we're full timers, so we'll have events sometimes on Wednesdays. Chris, like I
Hmm.
said, he's Air Force. Sometimes he got to go save aircraft. He got to catch them and put them back in the
Okay.
sky. So, hey, so I hope y'all have a great week and like I said, y'all keep your heads up. And like I said, if any vendors out there, if y'all need help, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I know Tish, myself, Chris, we're willing to. And I'm telling you, Chris, you better be careful because he'll give you a full class. You'll have a degree in it by the time it's over.
Okay.
You have a full degree. I'm telling you, like that one Saturday, I felt like I had got a degree in AI.
Okay.
But
It wasn't
y'all
that
have a
bad.
great.
I got an associate's. I got an associate's from Mario. So I'm just saying, Chris, thank you for that because I got an associate's.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we'll see y'all next time. And again, if you have any questions, or it's okay to reach out to us. We love helping people.
That
Y'all
we
be
do.
safe.
Have a good
All
one.
right. Have a good one.